Hello, boys and girls. Mr. Giomini. Wanted to come to you with two problems. One that's new to you guys. One that was from the evening practice from Thursday evening that I think some of us struggled a little bit. That I just want to go over again. I did discuss it in class, but I wanted to discuss it again. This one here, though, reminds me something like the Chapter 8 question with the area of a shaded region, where you had to do multiple areas, two areas, subtract. Well, here we got to find, well, I want to say, let's find the volume of this shape. Now, I noticed, first of all, that this shape consists of both a rectangular prism on the bottom here, and then we have what appears to be a cylinder. Either, we'll just say that it's glued or nailed to the top of the rectangular prism. And I want to find the volume of the entire object. What I'm going to do, and it doesn't really matter, I'm going to start with the volume of the prism. And I remember the volume for the prism is volume equals area of the base times the height. Now I can also do, for this is a rectangular prism, I can also do volume equals length times width times height. Whatever you're comfortable with, and it will give the same answer. I'm going to go with this one here. So the volume is, again, it doesn't really matter the numbers I choose because multiplication is commutative, but if I did do the length, I'm going to guess it's, what will we say, it's 8. I'm going to say that the width, how wide is up front, is 10, and the height is 3. Now, if you get to this point, you are allowed to use a calculator, but I would think that you should challenge yourself and do this without a calculator. I can do 8 times 10 is 80, times that by 3. The volume of that is 240, and let's not forget to label our answers. 240, and that is cubic millimeters. Now, let's take a look at the cylinder. Cylinder, volume for a cylinder is, let's see, we briefly talked about that. You guys seem to be competent with it. We didn't spend much. I think it's volume equals pi times radius squared times the height. And if we look at it, it looks a lot like this one because the base of a cylinder is a circle. So we find essentially the area of that base and times it by the height of the cylinder. Going into this now, I know that it's nice because it's labeled here. The radius is already labeled. So it's pi, which I'm going to use as 3.14, times the radius squared, so 2 squared, times 8. Okay, if I needed to, I get my calculator out right now. I could do pi times, let's see here, 2 squared is 4, 4 times 8. I can go 3.14, 3 and 14 hundredths times now 4 times 8 is 32. All right, let's take our calculator out here, and let's go 3 and 14 hundredths times 32 equals 148 hundredths. So the volume of the cylinder is 148 hundredths, and that is also millimeters, and it's cubic. Now what I need to do, I wanted to find the volume of everything combined. So I'm going to add this number to this number. I should not need a calculator for this. If I'd like to, I can just write the 148 hundredths underneath here. I'll put a decimal there. This gives me 48. 0, 4, and 3. And let's put a nice label on this. So the volume of the entire shape is 340 and 48 hundredths cubic millimeters. All right. Well, what a great assessment question. It really shows a nice application of this skill. You're combining multiple formulas together. Be nice. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Many of you did not try to, if you did miss it, it's because you didn't draw a picture. And I really encourage you when it's a story problem to try to attempt, and again, I'm no artist, but to try to attempt to draw a picture to help you solve it. So it says the base of a triangular prism, so I know it's a triangular prism, is a right triangle. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a right triangle. Here's my right triangle. I'll even label it right here with my little box to signify it's, or to identify that it's a right triangle. With a hypotenuse, well, if I take a look at a right triangle, which one is the hypotenuse? It's the one that's opposite the right angle. So this would be 10 meters. That is 10 meters long, and one leg 6 meters long. Now, it doesn't matter which one of these legs I call 6. I'll just call the base here 6. If the height of the prism is 12 meters, what's the volume? Now, let's draw the rest of this prism. So do a prism like this. Again, I'll try to make this a right triangle prism there, so we'd have something like that. And actually, this line back here would be dotted. Both of these would, but I wouldn't be able to see it really through the shape. So it looks something like that. And then I would connect. And it says the height is 12 meters. So if I were to stand this prism up, on the base we have 12 meters. First thing I notice, I need to find volume is, for a prism, is area of the base times the height. Here's the base right here. I can't find the area of that base because I don't know this other leg. It's a right triangle. It has a hypotenuse and a leg. Oh, I know, Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And Mitch did a great job explaining this today in my 4th period class. I'm going to just use the x as a squared, so there's my a squared, plus I'll substitute in the 6 for the b squared because that's the other leg, so 6 squared is equal to the hypotenuse is c, so that is 10 squared. We have a squared plus 36 equals 100. I just squared these two numbers. I'm going to subtract 36 from both sides. I will have a squared is equal to 64. Let's find the square root of both of those. A is equal to 8, and it's going to be 8 meters. Now I can have and find the area of the base. So I'll go back to my other volume, my volume formula. So volume equals area of the base. Now this is a triangular prism, so we're going to do base times height divided by 2. We're going to times that by the height. Okay, now we know the base is 6 times the height is 8. Divide that by 2, and we'll times it by the height of the prism, which is 12. We don't need that hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is right here. We don't need that. That doesn't tell me the height of the prism. 6 times 8 is 48. 48 divided by 2 times 12. 48 divided by 2 is 24. 24 times 12. I can't use my calculator for this now. 24 times 12 is 288, I believe, and that is meters, cubic meters. And there'd be my final answer. Guys, this is what I'm expecting to see, something along this line for work, right here. Don't just give me a final answer. I need to see what you're doing, because if you make a mistake, which I hope you don't, it'll help me critique your work and give you some feedback on it. Okay? I hope you enjoy this and get something from it. Take care. Bye.